Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Minutes with Milo show. How's everybody doing? Took me a little longer. Hope you didn't mind the intro and my pretty face, because I didn't have my camera going. Oh well. Live and learn, and then forget it and learn it again. So, it's Monday night. Hope everybody had a good Monday. I guess it was a decent Monday. Not a bad day at work. Last day I was at work, I got some poison ivy. See it? A spot there. A little spot here. Where'd it go? There it is. Yep. So, poison ivy's not any fun. Not any fun at all. But, it's worse. There's Clell. So, you all can't see it, but I have updated my studio just a small bit. Thanks to Robert and Ryan. They came across this humongous monitor, and they weren't going to use it, so I currently have it, and it's pretty cool. It's not really that much taller than my old one, but it's like almost twice the width. So, what I'm going to try to do is get Clell maybe to call in, and we'll see, because I think the last time the voice thing, the telephone messed up and cut him off. But see, now I have the OBS studio. I've got a chat screen, little one, right here. And then over here, I've got the Firefox, which has the Google Voice web page up, and it's running. So, theoretically, if it doesn't lose, I call it focus. But I tested it, and even though sometimes it may not be, the main screen that's clicked on, it still works as long as I can see it and it's up on the screen. So, but anyway. So, tonight's show, I'm cutting the top of my head off a little bit. When I move this monitor around, it kind of jacked up my camera situation. Let me turn that down a little bit too. It's a little bright. My poor little eyeballs can't take it. Turn it down. Well, that's a little better. Maybe a little better. I was saying something. Tonight's show. I think we've talked maybe about home remedies before, but not very in depth. And this is something a little bit different. I came across this, the prevention natural medicine cabinet. Drug-free alternatives from common ailments. Alright, and this is a lady at work who's getting rid of some of her old books, and we kind of went through them there at work. And I came across this one, and I thought, well, you know what I'll do is I will take it and look at it, and then maybe talk about it on the show. And that's what I'm going to do. So it talks about some of the, I guess, natural things you can use to, overcome some kind of ailments. And it's not like it tells you that you can go out and, get you a scoop of dirt, boil it 20 minutes, put tobacco juice in it and wrap it around your arm as a poultice. It's not quite like that. So we have to kind of read some of these ingredients, some of these remedies. So put the freeze on pain. There's a pain relief giant lurking in your kitchen freezer. And here's how to make him work for you. So what do you think it is? Put the freeze on pain, it shows an ice cube running. So I'm going to guess the modern medical term is cryotherapy or cold therapy. But the idea of ice therapy has probably been around since Ice Age human with a badly sprained ankle hobbled across a glacial stream and noticed the cold water had a numbing effect on the pain. Over the centuries, cold therapies have become an important remedy to kill the pain and reduce the swelling of sprains and fractures. So, this is true. Hey, Robert, how's it going? See, what's cool about this, you missed my little talk about the monitor. Why is it not? Let's see. Audio is a little grainy. Do you mean my image is a little grainy? Audio is a little grainy. What are you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? Let's see. Mic, audio. She's doing things. Let's see. What happens if I do that? Does that make an echo, echo, echo? Does that make a little echo? Huh. I could turn it down a little bit. Let's see. Right there. It's funny about this chat. They've got it tall and skinny, but instead of doing a really good word wrap, where if I make it skinner, usually you should stack words on top of each other and you still read the whole thing. It's got to be a certain width, which is kind of strange considering that most of my problem has always been the fact that it wasn't tall enough. So that looks like that's the perfect size. So now I'll put the voice thing underneath there. Yeah, hot cold methods for fast recovery has always been a thing. Smidge of an echo. Alright, let's see. Don't know why. Don't know why. What about now? Is that any better? Hello? That should be, well, I wouldn't say that should be better. Okay, better. One of the things that I did was I made a test phone call earlier, and I was messing around with the audio things to see if I could get, last time Clell called in, he had a little bit of an echo, and he was quieter. So I was messing around with that. I don't know if I really got anything figured out or not, but I increased my number of audio channels in the software, and there was one way down at the bottom that was turned on, and I just turned it off. So the beauty of cold therapy is that besides being inexpensive and simple to use, it doesn't interfere with the body's own healing processes, and it can be used in combination with other forms of treatment. So that's nothing really new. I think they've known that for a while. Let me see when this book was written. You can tell. It's from the editors of Prevention magazine. Copyrighted in 1983. Fourth printing, I guess this is the fourth printing, is 1985. So, 1985. So, at one time I talked about the cold plunge and those kind of things, the cryo chamber, or, just an ice bath and, that kind of stuff. So I'm sure this is just talking about, taking ice and putting it on a sprained ankle or, something like that. But, they say some of the best stuff to use like that is a bag of frozen peas. And the reason being is when you buy them at the supermarket, they're frozen, they're in a bag. So you scrunch up the bag, and now they're like little BBs in there. And when you lay it, like say, lay it on the back of your hand, it conforms. It's not like a block of ice that's rigid. It conforms to the shape and gives better coverage. And so, now there's all kinds of stuff that, bags of special stuff you can get that stays flexible. Even though it's like freezing cold, it doesn't get rigid, and you can bend it and, place it around things, that kind of stuff. So Robert was 17. Well, this book was probably made for you because it's got them, it's got those electric company, if you even know what that was, the electric company style of cartoon line drawings in it. All right, so now here is something. Let's see. Talks about a chemical compress can be used only once. It might become a handy addition to the first aid kit. So this is one of those things where you carry it around, you smack it, you squeeze it together, and it turns really, really cold for a certain period of time. And you can take it with you because it doesn't require refrigeration or being freezing. And one of the other things that talks about here, I don't know if you've ever seen it, and I see it a lot because I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch hardly any TV, but I watch a lot of YouTube. Put a steak on your black eye. I always heard liver was better. I think liver would be better because nobody wants to eat liver. everybody wants to eat steak. Says, Robert, I had a PBS that did indeed carry an electric company. There you go. The electric company was cool. How to become a bill or how to become a law. It started out as a bill. Go to Capitol Hill, all that kind of stuff. I see it a lot because I watch a lot of YouTube. Quail says he loves liver. I like liver too. Back when we were getting, quarter cows, half cows, and stuff like that, nobody wanted the liver. So I would say, well, if you're not going to eat the liver, I will take it. But the thing that the slaughterhouse, the packing house would do, they would put the liver in a big package and they froze it all together. So there would be enough liver in there for one person, me, to eat all week. And it was frozen together. It wasn't separated by any kind of paper, plastic or wax paper or anything. So I had to thaw the whole thing out, and then once it was thawed, I cooked the whole thing. Well, I like liver and onions, that kind of stuff. But let me tell you what. When I was eating it and I would cook it, and of course I had to take it for lunch to work every day to get rid of it. And liver, you put it in the refrigerator, you come back to it the next day, then the next day, the next day. It's still decent to eat, but it turns green. Like green eggs and ham. It starts to turn green. Like when you put a copper ring on or a brass ring on your finger after a day, or the end of the day, it turns you green, your finger green. It's like that. And it's still good to eat. It's just terrible to look at. But at the end of the week, after eating liver for lunch, it's all I can stand, And it wouldn't have been bad if I could, get somebody else to help me eat it, or, just cook a little bit at a time. But no, not all the time. Back to my original story. So I see these advertisements all the time on YouTube. And I don't know why YouTube lets these things go on. But they're always about, this brainiac kid that started college at MIT at 17 come up with this idea for increasing the car's gas mileage, 50-fold. And he was fired from his jobs, and now the gas companies are after him, the oil companies are after him, blah, 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 blah. I get those all the time, It's always something like that. But one of the things I see is the ice hack. Do this before you go to bed and you'll lose 500 pounds by the next morning. It is what they call, it was discovered by this doctor, and then, the health organization said it was hoo-la-la, and so, but now it's coming back and it's true and this kind of stuff. And it's called the ice hack. Just what I see these things on these YouTube commercials. So, in here, under this part, chilling the appetite is the heading. Alright? So, drinking a glass of ice water has a shrinking effect on the stomach, says Richard A. Hansen, MD. It suppresses the appetite and makes you feel full, which is why some restaurants serve ice water before meals. It lets them serve smaller portions and still make their customers feel satisfied after the meal. At home, you'd be reaching for seconds. Ice water also decreases stomach acidity, according to Dr. Hansen, who's director of the Poland Springs Health Institute in Maine. A glass of ice water, especially a neutral pH mineral water, is a lot better for an ulcer patient than a glass of milk, which actually stimulates the secretion of stomach acid, he says. Dr. Henson cautions people with diabetes and circulatory diabetes, such as osteosclerosis, as well as older people that have poor circulation, to use ice packs or cold drinks only under a doctor's supervision. There are other more rare circumstances when cold therapy shouldn't be used at all. So I think what they're saying, and this might be part of the ice hack, is, you drink cold water, like a glass of ice water or something like that, before you have supper. And therefore, you reduce the amount of food that you eat. And of course, if you can do that, then you can start losing weight. Me and mine make 5. I've always heard that drinking ice cold water raises metabolism because your body has to work to warm the water to use it in your body. And I've heard that too. So, do you recognize this little book? I know you read it to cover to cover. But that's what I said, when you see it on YouTube, ice hack, doctor comes up with this great thing. And it's like, one of the things I've often thought about doing on this channel is to record or go live like this and then click on and start following those links and see what kind of crazy stuff they come up with. But I'm always worried that, then you'll have one of those ransom viruses, or you get on somebody's, mail list, and you just get all this crazy stuff dumped on you all the time. But, it's always like, if you want to learn how to, cure tongue fungus or whatever it might be, there's videos right now waiting to, to show you how it's done. And so, man, it's so tempting to just click those little buttons and see what kind of crazy stuff they want you to do. But that was one of the things I saw, and when I was looking through the book, chilling the appetite jumped out at me. It was like, is that the same thing as that ice hack, you reckon, that they're talking about? That you talk about body warming the water, using more energy to warm it than it gives it. That's what they say about celery. You eat celery and your body uses more energy to break it down and digest it than the celery's worth. And so they have a fancy term for that, but that's like, negative caloric intake something something. You know what I mean? So the natural laxative, I bet you everybody here could probably come up with a natural laxative or something that they've come across that if you consume or consume enough of it at one setting, you regret it, right? And most of the time, it's something spicy, The apple cider vinegar diet is still going strong. It's not melting the fat. You drink it, and if you manage not to throw up, you definitely don't want to eat, which is what the melting the fat. That's probably true. Now, they say, it's like, prunes. Do prunes do it for you? I don't think I've ever indulged in prunes or prune juice. But, yeah. So, they say vinegar. I used to take like apple cider vinegar and olive oil and mix it in a little bottle, like 50-50. There's a ratio you're supposed to do, and shake it up. And every morning I'd take a tablespoon of that. And it's supposed to be for good, for lots of things. Vinegar is supposed to be good for you. The olive oil is supposed to do this, that, or another thing. So, did it work? I don't know. And it's just one of those things. I thought, well, you know what? Let's try this. And it wasn't, I can eat and drink all kinds of stuff. Why? Why? It's just apple cider vinegar and some oil, mix it together. It's like oil and vinegar. dressing, right? It's the same thing. And just take it every morning. And it's pretty good. It's kind of gives you that little, woo-hoo, kind of, get you going in the morning kind of stuff. But natural laxative. It says fiber is essential. With simple diet changes, primarily making sure we get enough fiber in our diets, preferably in the form of whole wheat bread and Miller's unprocessed wheat bran. There's your plug. You think Miller's is somewhere supporting this book? Dr. Burkett says that eating about 2 heaping tablespoons of Miller's bran every day can help prevent constipation, diverticulitis, appendicitis, hiatal hernia, and varicose veins, hemorrhoids, colon cancer, diabetes, and even obesity. Today, many other researchers are investigating the effects of fiber and bran in our diets and confirming the benefits observed by Dr. Burkett. How does such humble stuff as bran perform its seemingly miracles? Basically, by keeping your bowel movements regular and by decreasing the transmit time. That is the time it takes for stools to move through and out of the colon, or the large intestine. Although bran is sometimes called roughage, Dr. Burkett likes to call it softage because it has a softening effect on hard stools, thus relieving constipation. So now, you hear different things about that. Robert, you do not eat a tablespoon of Vaseline every day. You just don't. You wouldn't be able to do that. Maybe half a tablespoon. Maybe a teaspoon. Maybe you've got those two mixed up. Tablespoon, a teaspoon. Yeah. So, back to the roughage, the softage, the bran, fiber. Hear these things. And sometimes they make sense, and sometimes you think, well, I don't know. Because you think if you eat fiber, and it's that what it's, I guess, it's not as, it doesn't break down or digest as well as some other things. And therefore, as it's starting to leave the body, it supposedly takes other things with it. But it seems like too much fiber would slow down the process. It seems like you'd have to have a good balance of liquid intake and fiber to make it just flow just the right amount so it wasn't too fast or too slow. But apparently this Miller's unprocessed wheat bran is the cat's meow when it comes to fiber and doing fibrous things to your intestines. When diets are rich in dietary fiber, said Dr. Burkett, stools passed are usually large in volume, pale in color, and soft in consistency, and float in water. All right, so I'm going to give everybody some homework. I want you to, have your morning constitution, or constitutions, Robert. You know who we are. And survey them. I don't want you to do a checklist. Are they large in volume, pale in color, soft in consistency? You might have to get in there and check it and verify. All right? And then they float. So, no poop hat, please. You've always heard that saying, you don't have to worry about drowning because shit floats. You'd tell somebody that. So IBS, do you think, would bran or fiber agitate that, or do you think that would help it? Because I know, only thing I know about IBS is if you follow, can't remember what they call it, the diet that supposedly is good for that, it's very bland. Is that true? Like, I don't know, white rice and, liquid. Too much absolutely makes it worse. So you got to have that delicate balance between fiber, liquid, all that kind of stuff, which, only makes sense. So might want to skip this part. Stress. We'll get to stress here in a minute. This is in the book too. Diverticulitis, it talks about that stuff. Appendicitis talks about that. Strain, hiatal hernia, varicose veins, and hemorrhoids. According to Dr. Burkett, each of these conditions is probably caused by constipation and the resulting straining at stool. As you strain, you raise tremendously the pressure in your abdominal cavity over a period of time, which constant straining and raised pressure can have severe undesirable effects. Makes sense. So, yes, they often talk about the, your gut health. Everything, and I won't say a fad. I hate to use the word fad, but things seem to go in cycles. You know what I mean? So, eggs are bad, then they're good. Then hamburgers bad, then it's good. Low calorie diet, no, you need calories. Certain fats are good. Now those are bad. So, you kind of, I don't know why things seem to bounce back and forth between good and bad. So, I guess depending on, like an 85, when this was written, maybe fiber or bran was the best thing going or something. But he talks about strain and stress, and, that would only make sense. Because if you're straining to have a bowel movement, then, it does. It make your blood pressure go up, make your tummy hurt, make your bottom hurt, everything. So, lobbyists paying money to the FDA. Well, and that's probably true too. Like, when, now processed sugar is bad. Pure cane sugar can be okay, So you're probably right. Whoever has the money in the pocketbook at that time kind of sways which way the swing, is going, and things are good or bad for you. But yeah, I don't know how, but the gut health is one of the things that they're saying now can control a lot of things about the body, which, if you think about it, in a way makes sense because you eat food for the nutrients. And the only way the nutrients get into your system is the way they're broken down. They're broken down too fast or not, if they pass through your body too fast, then, that grizzly guy, what was the guy he goes out into the wilderness and then they caught him faking it because he was going like, 200-300 yards off the road doing these, I'm out in the wild surviving and all this stuff. Anyway, he was supposedly dropped off on one of his little excursions, with nothing. And Lucky Charms are on the food pyramid above broccoli and fruits. Totally sounds legit. Bear Grylls. I don't know how you say his last name. Bear. But I was just having to flip around through channels, and he was on. And I don't know if it's true. I wouldn't try it unless, I was totally desperate. But he came across deer poop, and he ate the deer poop. And his explanation for this was that The deer eat the grass, and their metabolism is so fast, it's processed through their body so quickly that they don't digest and use all the nutrients in the grass. So it comes out in their little pellet poops. And so he said there's a couple other animals like that. But he says, if you're going to starve to death, eat some deer poop. You can do it. It won't kill you. I don't know. I would really have to be pretty desperate to do that. So let's see. Natural remedies for aching muscles. I mean, Robert talked about the heat and the cold. That sprains and whatever. Sprains. See, snug wrap. This is one thing. Depression, the third component of RICE. All right, so now let's see what RICE stands for. Avoiding scar tissue. Huh. I don't know what RICE stands for. So, all right, so we get here to where he talks about Dr. Bassett recommends applying cold for 10 to 15 minutes at a time, 3 or 4 times a day. Dr. Morgan suggests doing it every 2 hours for 20 minutes. Snug wrap, compression, the third component of RICE, should also be continued for that period, but only if there's swelling. Wrap the injured muscle with an elastic bandage snugly, but not so tight to impede circulation. Heat for rehabilitation. Once the muscle is on the road to recovery, that is, the pain and swelling are down, apply heat will increase blood flow, bringing nutrients and cells that speed the healing process. What's more, Dr. Grana, heat improves the muscles' elasticity and helps get back into the range of motion. So they're not talking about, heat and cold cycling during the day. They're talking about, I guess, after 2 or 3 days, the pain and swelling goes down from the ice treatments and the wraps. Then you can put, maybe some heat on it to start it rehabilitating. 7, I'm not going to read all 7 of these. 7 safe natural tranquilizers. When your nerves are shot, consider your possible needs for vitamins, minerals, and other safe ways to keep your cool. So, talks about this Millie, who's a nervous wreck. The holidays are fast approaching, and she's got so much left to do. Millie's doctor assures her that there's nothing seriously wrong with her. Her irritability, nervousness, and anxiety are probably temporarily, and perhaps a tranquilizer will help over the rough spots. Millie decides to take the prescription. She certainly won't be alone. Some doctors say that many people who take tranquilizer drugs are on the wrong track. In the case of nerves, can often be triggered by nutrient deficiencies resulting from poor diet. So it talks about here niacin, Niacin. Where is it? Niacin is effective. So, I don't know what niacin is, but it didn't sound like a plant, right? It was like, this thing's about natural medicine cabinets, ice packs and heat, bran, eating it, unprocessed bran. You probably don't have that sitting around, but you can get a hold of it. So what is niacin? Niacin is B3, the vitamin B3. So I had to look that up on the internet. It was talking about it. And one of the things, let's see, where did I see that? Niacin is an orphan drug belonging to everyone because it is the in the public domain, so there's no big cost for it. According to H.L. Newbold, MD, author of Mega Nutrients for Your Nerves, while most people feel better within days of beginning a Niacin regimen, some require months to feel the benefits. It's especially important to give this vitamin a lengthy therapeutic trial because its potential benefits are so great. In using Niacin, I began with a modest dose of 50 milligrams 3 times a day and build up to the optimal level, the dose that achieves maximum improvement. However, needs vary from person to person and even from day to day. So he doesn't talk about what the maximum dosage is. So I looked it up, and let's see. It talked about B3 in cases where it was taken in large doses. Let's see. It's a vitamin. It's water-soluble B vitamin. Generic name for nicotinic acid. Whatever. I can't pronounce that kind of stuff. But in big doses, it can cause diarrhea and all kinds of stuff. I mean, in big doses being like 2,000 milligrams a day. So this guy was starting out with what, 50? That's what he was saying, 3 times a day, so 150 a day. Which doesn't seem like a lot. But it said in here too, one of the things, where is it? Okay. Get back up here. However, needs vary from person to person and even from day to day. Of the Department of Oral, let's see, W.M. Ringsford Jr., DMD, I guess that's a doctor of dental medicine or something. Of the Department of Oral Medicine at the University of Alabama in Birmingham, the only surefire way to overcome or avoid depletion is to consume daily doses of nutrients 7-fold the levels specified as recommended daily allowances. Niacin, like other nutrients, should be taken with meals as vitamins work together with food. So 7-fold. That seems a little excessive. So like if who is it that comes up with these things? Who is it that specifies how much recommended daily allowance of certain things you need? Health and Drug Administration or whoever it is. You know, they say that 500 milligrams is, what you need for your niacin B3, and he wanted you to take 7-fold of that. FDA, yeah, there we go. Food and Drug Administration. I knew it was something like that. Food and Drug Administration. I mean, that just seems a little extreme to say 7-fold what the recommended dosage is. It has all kinds of stuff. I mean, I read up on some of that stuff, and it's just so crazy. Some of the stuff that it says that it will do, and it lowers LDL-C triglyceride levels and increases HDL-C levels. Reduces risk of cardiovascular disease. Niacin supplementation is theorized to benefit cognition and longevity. So it's really hard to say. Those are the kind of things that, calming nerves with calcium. Calcium deficiency generally sneak up slowly. One of the things my wife takes is calcium, because women lose calcium as they get older, or they lose the bone mass, I think. So she supplements her diet with calcium, and she uses calcium is a large ingredient, if not the biggest ingredient, in a lot of antacid pills. So you can buy antacid tablets, like just the calcium. Sometimes they're flavored. I don't take them. I don't know. Sometimes I think they are flavored, but she gets the ones that are about the size of a quarter or a dime, and they're like wafers, and she takes those because she's not old, but it's a good supplement. So maybe that's why she can put up with me so well, is because it says in here calming the nerves with calcium. So that's one of the things to do. So talks about charcoal, first aid effects, plant your own outdoor medicine chest. Herbs aren't fussy. See if it just gives you a list of some of the ones that are most useful. But I've got one here that I saw: sage, horseradish, garlic, rosemary, chamomile, peppermint. Here's one. This is what I looked up: plantain, catnip, and a word about safety. So let's look at plantain. Plantain was one of the ones. Where'd it go? It's in this top corner right there. Plantain, broadleaf plantain, the weed you wouldn't want to be without. That was on this website I looked at. You may be more familiar with plantain as a common perennial weed than a medical herb. That's because plantain grows profusely on lawns, along roadsides, and in meadowlands. It can overtake your lawn if allowed to spread, so think twice about where you want to sow seeds. You can recognize plantain by its oval, smooth, thickish leaves, which range from 4 to 10 inches long and about 2/3 as broad. Purplish green flowers held on long erect stalks reach the same length as the leaves, but have blunted ends. The flowers, along with the leaves, can be used to treat any number of minor problems. The fresh leaves can be applied whole or bruised in the form of a poultice, then rubbed over insect bites and stings to bring relief from pain. Plantain may even stop bleeding with minor cuts and scrapes. So will mud. The itching associated with poison ivy can be stopped. Maybe I need to get some plantain. When crushed leaves of the common plantain are rubbed on the affected area. And should... So pleased was this doctor with his results that he had since treated 10 other afflicted poison ivy. 10 others with poison ivy. The sensation of itching in all cases was rapid. The cessation, the itching stopped real quick, he says. And the dermatitis did not spread to other areas of the body. Now, I had this conversation with my daughter, and I don't know what the truth is. Poison ivy, it's the sap, is the oil, the leaves, or from the sap from the vine that gets on your skin, and it's sticky. And if you get to it soon enough, you can wash it off before you really get the effects of it. Okay? So, it comes in contact with your skin. It sticks to it. If you don't wash it off, then it causes irritation. Then you go, like I did. When I got finished weeding, I washed from about high wrist down. I should have went to the elbow. But obviously, I didn't go to the elbow. So I knew to wash my hands, and I washed my legs because I was wearing shorts. But I I knew that if I got, I saw poison ivy, I was messing with it, I knew where it was, and I knew I probably got some on me. So I was going to wash it. But she said, I said, man, I think she was in the car with me. I said, I think I got some poison ivy. And she goes, well, don't get that on me. And I said, this is like the next day, I said, don't worry about it. You can't get it. She goes, if you've got the pustules, you can spread it and I'll catch it. And I was like, that's not the way it works that I know of. So I don't think it can spread. But this book here, what did it say? And the dermatitis did not spread to other areas of the body. So this to me is the poison ivy dermatitis. I don't know if you can hear. Let me get that up in there. How did it get through all that hair? I don't know. Don't ask me. It just happens. So this spot did not spread to this spot. I don't have any on this arm. Okay? These are two separate spots that I got it and didn't wash it off. I've been told that poison ivy does not spread like that. I can't get it here, and then 2 days later, it shows up. There's a little spot right there, too. Then it shows up there. I can't rub these two arms together and then transfer it to the other arm. Once I've, like I said, take a shower, wash down. We talked about it today. Dawn dishwashing liquid is really good to cut oils, and that's what it is. It's like an oil. So, washing in Dawn. And I knew this. I just didn't wash high enough. I just washed from here. I should have washed all the way up to the elbow, but I didn't. So, I don't know. And she's going to be a vet. I don't think it can spread like that. The broadleaf plantain. Let me just really quick because we're running long. As always, we're running long. Been on here 52 minutes. Where is it? Window capture. Is this the one? Here it is. All right, so let me get that out of your way. So, broadleaf plantain, the weed you don't want to be without. So this is the look of it. It looks like a dandelion leaf, but it's not. Let me see if I can find. There we go. That's the whole plant. That stuff's growing everywhere in the yard. And I wish I could see. I don't know what that is. It's the fibers in it. These are the seed pods. No, I don't know if you can crush them up and smoke them. I have no idea. Robert says the oil can spread, but not the pus. Me and mine make 5. The oil can spread. Wipe off in alcohol first and then wash thoroughly. I've become a pro at treating poison ivy because my husband would look at it and break out. And I think that's what my daughter was worried about. Is that, she looks at it and can catch it. But, I think you have to, like I said, the oil actually has to be transferred. Now, I'm sure if you got it first and it was on your right arm and you crossed your arms, that you could spread the oil from your right to your left arm, right? Before you washed or before you took any precautions or anything like that. I'm sure that's possible. My girls, when they lived at home, swore up and down, and I don't deny it. Okay, it makes sense that when they would pick up our cat, who's an outside cat, the cat has fur, so she's rummaging out through the weeds, and I'm sure rubbing through poison ivy and stuff. And they theorized that the cat would get the oil on her fur, and then when they would pick the cat up and pet her, and hold her and things like that, then the oil would get on their skin, not knowing it, and they would catch poison ivy that way, which makes sense to me. But anyway, back to plantain. So these seeds, and it talks about some of the common uses. Benefits. Broadleaf plantain is edible for both animals and people, has a wide range of medical usage. The entire broadleaf plantain plant is edible from root to seed. It includes vitamin A, vitamin C, K, zinc, potassium, and silica. Plantain seeds are rich in proteins, carbohydrates, omega-3s, and fatty acids. Young plantain leaves can be eaten raw and make a flavorful salad green, pairing well with other milder greens or fruits like diced apples. As the plant gets older, the leaves get tougher and are better cooked. Chop them, remember the strings. I guess you string them like a pea or a bean, like a string bean. Use them as you would spinach or other sturdy greens. Plantain roots are small compared to many wild plant roots, but they can be cooked and blended into soups and vegetable dishes. It talks about making the teas and poultices. Plantain herb is a medicine. Broadleaf plantain is nothing short of amazing for bug bites, stings, and other skin irritations. I use fresh plantain leaves directly on insects bite, or if used with oil or salve, itch and mosquito bites and burns of wasp stings fade within minutes of application. So, inhibits bacterial growth, counteract poisoning, relieve pain and inflammation, clear obstructions in the gut and airways, increase the flow of urine, reduce fever, stop bleeding, improve eye drainage, treat or heal wounds. It's a miracle. Miracle. Miracle of miracles. That's what it is. So, 57 minutes. Lots of things going on. Lots of things. Let's see, what was that one? Is that something I was going to talk about? Oh, this was another one about relieving stress through vitamin B. It also talked about magnesium. This is something, I'll leave you with this, because you can go on and on and on. But anyway, magnesium was one of the things that I'd heard about recently, watching or listening to the Joe Rogan Experience. Had a guy, a nutritionist dude on there, whatever, and talked about magnesium being one of the things. I mean, if you took every supplement you ever heard about that helped cellular growth, or it helped, bald spots, or it helped get rid of inflammation or arthritis or pig toe or whatever it might be, warts, you could probably do nothing but spend your whole paycheck ordering and crunching up and brewing and massaging in all kinds of, teas and elixirs and all this other stuff. But magnesium, I won't say that it's, the greatest thing on the block, but one of the things this person said is, oh yeah, magnesium's great, but there's 7 different forms. 7 different forms. And to take advantage of all the benefits, you should take all 7 of them. Who's got time for all that? It's hard enough to try to just eat healthy. That's expensive enough and takes more time, right? I don't know. Anywho, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Me and mine makes 5. Glad to have you. Robert, Clell, wake up. We're saying goodbye. Pay attention. Sorry, Clell. I forgot all about you calling in. We got sidetracked talking way too much. So anyway, maybe next time I want to try out this. Like I said, I got a bigger screen, more room for windows. Hopefully the phone, just having its window open all the time, will work better, won't cut people off. Maybe I can figure out this echo or whatever it was we had last time. So, yep, we'll see you at work. If you watch the video, you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I've got 100 subscriptions. Like, turn on the notification bell, leave a comment. YouTube likes comments. So anyway, I appreciate everybody coming. Later. I ate what? No. I won't say it. All right. Later. Bye, Clell. Bye, Robert. Bye, me and mine make 5. Man, that's a long name. Anyway, end broadcast. See y'all.